Welcome back to the Book Bowl Challenge. Today I have an extra special video with a guest. One could argue that this is the original first and biggest fan of the Book Bowl Challenge, and probably the first and original fan of me as a person since day one. Today we have my mother, Anita. Welcome.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
So, Mom, would you consider yourself to be a big reader?
Yes, I do enjoy reading.
So tell me a little bit more about that. Do you, how many books would you say you read in a year? Do you have a goal?
I usually set a book a week. Right now I'm on 44.
44?
For this year.
For this year?
For this year. But I'm retired people, so.
Did you always used to read at this pace?
No. Up until I retired, I did not read maybe one or two books a year. But I always had a book going, but it took me forever to read.
Has your relationship with reading changed since you were young?
Yes, it has. I hated reading when I was young. Now I can't go a day without reading.
Would you say that you usually read like paperbacks, like in-person books, or are you more of a Kindle or audiobook person?
I definitely like my Kindle. My daughter bought me for Christmas one year.
Oh.
Yeah. And I do audiobooks. I do art, so when I'm doing my art, I listen to a lot of audiobooks. So,
have you always liked audiobooks?
Yes. Well, when I travel, we always had audiobooks going.
You know, I just thought of a memory that I have. Sometimes I would come to work with you, and we had a long commute, like 45-minute commute, and we would go get like the books on tape from the library.
Right.
Did we read the Da Vinci Code?
Yes, that was the one I was thinking. The last one we did was the Da Vinci Code.
And I wasn't always in the car with you, so I was only getting like a third of the story, whereas you get the whole story. Changed a little bit. Now audiobooks are just at the snap of your fingers on your app.
Yeah, I love that you can just download them from the library and just have them on your phone.
We are both huge library people. Ever since I was little. You want to talk a little bit about when we went to the library as kids?
We always did the libraries with the kids. They always had the free programs, and we took advantage of them. At least once a week we did reading, or they have craft things, and they always had things going. And it's a great place to take your kids for events. The kids, Rachel and I read every night. We were reading a book together when she was a kid. And then it went from little kid from Jenny B. Jones to, what was
we did, Junie B. Jones is like a big memory for me.
Yeah.
She was a spunky, I don't know if any of you guys out there have read Junie B. Jones. Please definitely put in the comments if you have, because she is such a little troublesome child. I really liked her. What else did we do? We did Nancy Drew,
and then we went to the what was the the Jane Eyre darn.
Oh, you know what? Okay, so does anyone know what I'm talking about here? They're like hardback books that are like white with red. They have like it's like from I'm a visual person, so I can picture this book, and it has like a red publisher symbol, and I think it's like some classic.
Yeah, we did a lot of the classic, like we did
Little Women.
Little Women, that's what I'm thinking of.
Heidi,
Black Beauty.
Anne of Green Gables.
Anne of Green Gables was one of my favorites.
It's all like just strong female classic characters. If I find it, I'll put that up. And
yeah, we did all those classic old books.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember some of the books we read when I was even younger?
One of my favorites that you read was, what was the name of that book? I know you did the monster one. What was that called?
Where the Wild Things Are.
Yeah.
That's a Book Bowl book, people. Yeah. That one's coming back around.
Yeah, that was a great book. That was your favorite. I remember when we moved to Ottawa, Kansas, and we just lived there like a week, and you came home from school, and you were so excited, and you said, I'm going to be in a parade. And so the library came to the school and asked for volunteers to be in the parade. And you volunteered, and they accepted you, and you were the wild.
Yeah, so in this brand new town where I knew absolutely nobody, does it shock anybody that the library became like the first people to embrace me?
Right.
And so they were putting on, was it the Christmas parade or Veterans Day parade or something like that?
I think it was the Christmas parade.
So they would ask that you, whatever your favorite book was, they had like a printout of the cover, and you sort of wore it
like a box,
almost. It was like a poster board, and they just put shoulder straps on it with the front and back cover.
Right.
If you're imagining like the mini books I made, just scale it up to be maxi books.
Yeah, to be a child size.
So I wore
your book,
Where the Wild Things Are.
Yep.
So that one will come around on the Book Bowl Challenge eventually. Maybe we can read it together and relive those memories.
Well, are we going to read that one in Spanish?
I kind of do want to read that one in Spanish. When I was visiting my mom, she lives in Panama, we went to the library in Boquete, which is a little bit more in the mountains of Panama, just a beautiful town. Let me know if you've ever been there. And they have a gorgeous library here. Mm-hmm. It's very new, very modern. And I was kind of looking to see if they had any Book Bowl books. And they have this huge kids section. So, of course, the first one I see is Where the Wild Things Are.
In Spanish.
In Spanish. I wish I could remember. I'll put up what those words are in Spanish, but I'll get lots of practice.
Yeah.
My parents live in Panama, and unfortunately, guys, my Spanish is not very good.
Mine's not very good either. So
maybe we should start with this kid's book.
We'll learn the Spanish for that book. I was trying to think of that name of that other book that you really loved when you were a kid. Silly Sally.
Oh, Silly Sally went to town walking backwards upside down. On her way, she saw a pig.
And they did a jig.
They danced a jig. How do we remember that?
Because we read it so many times.
Another one that we read, I just so remember you reading it out loud. Mom is the best at reading books out loud with voices and everything. Do you remember the book Suddenly?
Oh, Suddenly. And suddenly.
And suddenly.
And in the book, every time you turn the page, the word suddenly gets bigger. So you have to say it.
You have
bigger. So
you do have to say it bigger. So we were talking before we started the recording, trying to remember what other books from the Book Bowl Challenge Mom's read. She's a very big fan of the challenge.
I am. I usually, it takes, when she posts the book, then it takes me, sometimes it's a 6 or 9 week wait. Mm-hmm. To get to get the book from the library, so it takes a while for me to get the book. So
yeah, because I don't give you advance notice.
No, I don't. I'm with everybody else. I get the notice right when the book's everybody else sees it.
Yeah, well, the insider knowledge is that I don't always draw and edit and post on the same day. It takes me some time, especially the editing. So a lot of times I'll have already pulled the book, and maybe I've got it from the library and started reading it already. Sometimes I haven't. But I don't let Mom know ahead of time what I just pulled.
No, I'm with everybody else.
Maybe I should.
I don't get any special. But I try to, if I see a book that sounds interesting, and if she says, this is a really good book, I recommend this book, I will try to get it. Mm-hmm. So
which ones, we were talking, you read East of Eden. I'm turning around.
Well, James. I remember James was on the book.
James is on the shelf. Oh,
was that on
Lessons in Chemistry.
Oh,
I actually think you might have read that book before me.
Right, I did read that one first.
Mm-hmm, before it came up on the Book Bowl Challenge. Now that one, if we remember our history, I didn't pull that one out of the Book Bowl, although it was in it. My neighbor delivered a copy of this book to my door, and I just felt like it was kismet. We have to read this. Let's go for it.
And it was such a good book, and I really was so excited when the show came out on was it HBO?
Yeah, I can't remember if it was on what streaming it was on.
Oh, maybe it was
Apple
I don't
TV.
know. Apple TV. I don't know what.
We watched it too.
Yeah.
And I thought they did a pretty good job adapting.
Maybe it was Apple TV. So.
They changed a few storyline points.
Right. But that's typical.
Yeah. But overall, I thought they did a pretty good job.
I did like it, the book.
I cried. Are you a crier?
I am a crier. My favorite book so far this year has been Migration. And boy, I cried in that one. I mean, literally, I was like, I had to get a tissue and tears were just flowing. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well,
So-
I think this is a good transition to talk about. So, Mom's from Panama, and we actually don't get together in person very often. So, thank you for coming to visit me here. While Mom was here, since we both really enjoy reading, we decided that we should read the same book while
Right.
she's here. And we didn't pick one from the Book Bowl Challenge, but we picked Atmosphere by Taylor
yeah.
Jenkins Reid. And the reason we picked this is I just recently got back from the Heartland Book Fest that was held here in Kansas City. Taylor Jenkins Reid was there. She was promoting this book. I got it signed. It was so exciting. I had not read this book when I saw her, but hearing her talk about this book, I knew that I needed to move it up.
Right.
We needed to read this book. And then you were interested in reading this book too. So since we had the copy, we put 2 bookmarks
Books
in
in
this
it.
book.
Yeah, we shared
and
the book.
read it at the same time.
Right.
So what did you think of Atmosphere?
I liked the book a lot. I did cry in this book. It had some really interesting characters. So
What did you know about this book before you started?
absolutely nothing, but I did know the author, not personally, but I read Seven Husbands
Yeah.
of...
Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, we both read.
Right.
I think that one I had read first, and then I
Yeah,
called you.
and told me, yes.
You got to read this book.
Yeah, you did tell me to read that one.
Departing from Atmosphere for a second, I distinctly remember us getting on the phone after you finished Seven Husbands, and I was like, "Did you finish it? Did you finish it?"
And I was mad
And you
at
were
you.
so mad at me. You're like,
I was-
"How dare you?" But really, she's mad at Taylor Jenkins Reid.
Yes.
You're not mad at me.
Not personally, no. But it's like, I like books with happy endings.
Right. So Taylor Jenkins Reid, I know a lot of you guys have read her, but if you haven't, basically the only advice I can give you for this book, for Seven Husbands, for Malibu Rising, just buckle in. She takes you on an emotional ride up and down.
Yep.
Sometimes it ends up, sometimes it ends down, and you hate her at the end, but you love her, but you hate her. So let's talk a little bit more about Atmosphere. We're not going to give any plot spoilers, but let's talk characters.
Vanessa.
Vanessa.
So Vanessa, she was my favorite character.
What made you like Vanessa so much?
I think Vanessa, because she was so, she was caring, but she was driven, very driven. But when it came to Joan, she would like whatever it takes to make Joan exceed in her job. They work together.
Mm-hmm.
And
There was originally kind of a competitive spirit there,
Right.
but over time, that relationship somewhat changes.
Right.
And I also really like that about Vanessa too, that these 2 women who are very much in a male-dominated field could have the sense of collaboration rather than
Right.
competitiveness.
Right.
And that's very different from the third woman,
Right.
well, a third woman, Lydia, right? Lydia?
Lydia was out for Lydia.
Lydia was out for Lydia. So I don't think it's too much spoilers to talk about. One of the things I kind of took away from this book was how differently Lydia and Joan saw their own positions amongst all these men. For example, I mean, so this book's set in the 80s. It's set in the NASA space program. So you can imagine the type of man. He's telling these crude jokes, and he doesn't really think that the women really belong there. And Lydia just plays right into that. She's laughing at all their crude jokes. She's ribbing. She's trying to be like one of the guys.
Yeah, she's trying to be one of the guys.
And she kind of puts her foot over the other women that are there. Joan doesn't really do that.
Yeah, Joan doesn't like that about about her.
That brings us to another one of, I think that a favorite character that both of us had, Griff.
Griff, I did like Griff.
He was one of the men who wasn't like the others.
Right. He was more like a team player, that it didn't matter to him if you were male, female, or what you were.
Mm-hmm.
He was just treated everybody the same.
He kind of took you at the value you brought.
Right, and I liked that about him.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter female or male.
Mm-hmm. And Hank too. He was another good one. Mm-hmm. But overall, I thought Taylor did a really good job of the variety of characters. They all felt very different and distinct, and they were all really interesting.
My least favorite character, Barbara. Joan's sister. Not going to go in much about that, but didn't like her.
Yeah, Barbara, if you've read this book, chime in. Barbara hate club right here. How dare Barbara?
How dare Barbara?
How dare Barbara? Also, this is why we get so mad at Taylor. She's so good at writing these really hateable characters.
Yep, we did not like her at all.
Not like Barbara. You have to have someone to hate.
And then you have to read it to find out why we didn't like Barbara and see if you agree to that.
If you know, you know. I think we could just make a hate club for all of these Taylor Jenkins Reid characters.
Okay.
And some of Evelyn's husbands can be on there.
Yep.
Atmosphere. Closing thoughts.
It's a great book. I think people that enjoy sci-fi will enjoy it. People that love stories will enjoy it. Dramas, I think it had everything. It covered a lot of things in the book.
I agree. I still think Evelyn Hugo might still be my top, but this might have floated into number 2 for me.
As of her books?
Of her books. One thing that we were talking about before we started filming too is that this book had a lot of similarities in it. Even though they are completely different genres, it made us both think about one other book that we have read for the Book Bowl Challenge and that you've also read. Project Hail Mary.
Oh yes, Project Hail Mary. I always forget the name. I'm horrible at remembering names. So.
I know, every time we're on the phone, I'm like, oh yeah, you remember this one book that we read? And she's like, which one? I can tell you the title. Oh, Project Hail Mary. What was that about again? Oh, yeah. I think we all get like this to an extent.
Yeah, I think what happens is I read a book, and then the time I read the next book, that book's completely out of my brain. It's like if I go back and read the description on the book, then I'm usually, it brings back the memories of it, but it's like I don't store it.
But so it reminded us both of Project Hail Mary. I think first of all, the easy connection is that they're both set in space. And we both really like space stories. But you are not a big sci-fi person.
No, not really.
So what made you read Project Hail Mary? It's okay.
Well,
you can say you were influenced.
I was influenced because he wrote Martin.
The Martian.
The Martian. Okay. And wasn't there a movie of that? The Martian? With,
yes. Matt Damon.
So I really liked that movie. And so when that book came out, I picked it up just because I liked the movie. Mm-hmm. So
The Martian?
Mm-hmm. So
I think they're making an adaptation of Project Hail Mary.
I can't wait for that to come out.
I can't remember if it's going to be a series or a movie, but I think they cast Ryan Gosling as the main.
I was trying to think of who they might cast as the other alien character.
Rocky.
Yes.
I know. Yeah.
It's like, whose voice is that going to be? Because it's going to probably be AI generated or...
yeah, who knows?
Or
right. If you've read this book, you know that Rocky has a very unique way of communicating.
Right.
And so it'll be really interesting to see how they capture that on film.
I know. So...
Do you tend to like adaptations of books?
Sometimes. Sometimes they're just way off from the book. So as long as they seem to keep to most of the storyline, I'm okay with it. So
We talked lessons in chemistry was very good, very well done.
I think it was hidden. What was it? What NASA?
Hidden Figures.
Hidden
Another
Figures.
NASA book.
Yes, that was a really good book.
Yes, good book.
And,
great movie.
it was about the maids in the South. They had a movie of it too.
Oh, The Help.
The Help.
That one was so good.
Yeah, so that was a really good book, and it was a really good movie too.
I thought they did a great job with the movie.
So,
what's your philosophy on rating books?
okay, I will say I like a book, or I dislike a book, but I don't rate books because I feel like that's putting my judgment on a book, and I think everybody should have their own judgment of what the book should be. So, I mean, my opinion what a good book is might not be the same as your opinion what a good book is. So, how can I get off and rate a book, and then someone says, well, it only got us 4-star or 3.5. It's like not worth my time reading it.
Yeah.
It's like that's not fair to the author of the book. So I don't rate books. So
Yeah.
I could say I personally like this book, or I personally dislike this book. So.
I like the philosophy because it's very true. It's a wonderful thing that we all have very different taste, and it probably also means that you could see a book and see that it's a little bit lower rated, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it was bad,
Right.
or that you wouldn't like it.
Right. So.
And with the Book Bowl Challenge, I do give a book a rating, but I hope that we're able to talk together about why a book didn't resonate for me, rather
Right.
than just say, this book was garbage, this was trash, no one should read it.
Right.
I don't think that's productive to the
Yeah.
conversation at all. But maybe it's also not productive to the conversation to say, this was the greatest book ever, everyone should read it.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, it's like the best thing of all time.
I think that's just about your whole Book Bowl Challenge, though.
Yeah.
It's like these are the best of the books of.
Someone somewhere decided that
these
this was,
were the best of the books.
and if it were the case that we all had the same taste, then they would all be 5 stars, right?
Right.
Just based on that alone.
It's like you're not stuck reading the same romance or same fantasy books, or it gives you a variety of different topics or different styles of books to read, and I like that. I like having the versatility.
Very true.
Yeah, I think if I had to choose a favorite genre, I think it would probably be historical fiction. I do love a good story about things that not so much about the history, but sometimes they don't pick like a character, or like the female pilots from the World War I or something. It's like stuff that you would not normally knew anything about. So.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that.
I like historical fiction too.
So.
I agree with you. They sometimes, by they I mean the authors, they sometimes will take a moment in history and find someone's story that wasn't told in the history book, and
Right.
they tell that person's story. Do
So-
you read a lot of nonfiction?
No.
No.
I used to. That used to be when I was a kid. That was my favorite. Was nonfiction. I loved books about people.
Like biographies.
I tend to always read about, the president or some famous person or something. But
So, what are some of your favorite books this year?
this year,
You've read 44 books this year.
my all-time favorite so far has been Migration. I had to look up who the author was.
Okay, Migrations by Charlotte. I apologize if I butcher the last name. I think it's McConaughey.
McConaughey.
It kind of looks like an Irish name, McConaughey.
Oh, William by Elizabeth Strout. I think I read this one that you recommended also was the one about my mother. What was it called?
I'm Glad My Mom Died.
Yes.
That's nonfiction too.
I know.
A memoir.
So, I see James is on here. It was a good book. This one was one of my all-time favorites. The Remarkable Bright creature.
Remarkably Bright Creatures. Yes.
I
That one
love
is so
that
good.
book. I love that book. I love that the octopus had its own voice.
What was his name?
I don't remember now.
Like Marcellus or something like
Something.
that.
Yeah.
We both read this book. I read this book not in the Book Bowl Challenge. It was another one of my apartment book club picks. And it was so cute.
I love that book. I thought it was really good. I thought it was very well written, and I kept me intrigued that I wanted to, continue to read it. So, so
My one critique with that book, I just wish there was more octopus.
Oh yeah.
Every time his chapter was over, I was like, no,
I
want
know,
more.
I know.
Like, okay, we're back to the
I know.
sun again.
It's like
the sun is like irritating me, and
it's like I wanted more of the octopus. I did too.
more octopus.
So definitely.
So before we started filming, I asked Mom if she would be willing to do a book bowl drawing with me. And I have to warn you that, we could pull anything.
I know.
We could pull Stephen King.
I don't hope it's not a thriller.
We could pull, a book with over 1,000 pages. We could pull anything. We could pull a little kid's book. But you agreed to it, right?
I did agree to it. So
Now, by agreeing to read a book out of the Book Bowl Challenge, it doesn't mean you agree to finish it.
right, that's true.
It's just you give it a try.
I'll give it a try. And if it gets too horror, I'll skip a couple pages forward.
So, should we do it? Should we pull a book
Sure.
for the Book Bowl Challenge?
Sure.
Okay, let me grab it. All right, you've seen enough of these. You know how it works,
Yep,
right? You
stir.
gotta give it a good stir.
Okay, I don't know which way it's going. This way. What do we get? Free space. Free space. Okay. All right, that means I had to pick a book.
Yeah,
Oh, I know. I don't know what to pick.
we could think on it.
Okay, we'll think on it.
And you'll have to come back and report back with
Okay.
whatever you pick.
Is there
Usually, if I draw free space, I just get the opportunity to choose any book that's been kind of on my mind that's not in the bowl. But since you drew it, I think you need
Okay.
to choose the book for both of us.
Well,
Think on it,
okay.
report back,
Okay.
and I will paste it up with
Okay.
the book that you chose.
Okay.
And we can maybe get you on the phone to talk about why you picked it.
Okay.
If you all are nice to my mom, she'll come back on a Zoom and we'll talk about whatever mysterious books that she picks for the
Okay.
free space.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to get all my buddies to tell me, ooh, what book did you think was really good this year?
All right, so we have our free space pick that we'll table until we have our selection in. Let's just close out by saying if there's anyone out there like you who wants to get more into reading and they find themselves with some more time and wants to make reading more of a priority in their life, do you have any advice to give to the good people?
Well, visit your local library. There you go.
Visit your library.
Because they can recommend books to you. They're available to you, and so you I think the library is the best resource for books. So
Very well said. And the libraries are so grateful for anybody who can either come in and check out materials in person or digitally.
Right.
They just need all the help they can get these days.
yeah, support your local library. Yay.
Well, thank you so much, Mom, for being here. Please report back with the book that you're going to force upon. I thought I was going to be forcing a book upon you today.
Now I'm
and
forcing one on you.
Now she's forcing one on me. How perfect is this?
Okay.
But thank you so much for being here today, and we will circle back with our book selection. Well, thank you, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye, everybody.